Hey everyone, this is Brett Kemp here with The Space Between. Thank you so much for joining me. I decided I'm just gonna kind of talk a little bit about what I did today and how that's very different than what I've been doing up to this point for the Space Between channel and for the Space Between journey, if you will. I today spent a lot of time shooting outside in Burbank where I live. And up to this point, um, for all of those who've seen the video, I'm so tired. This is gonna be. I hope I can get through this without, but I'm exhausted. Anyways, so forgive me if my words sound like I'm sleepy, because I am very tired. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Most of my videos up to this point have had um, a lot of video assets, so I'm just using videos that are already made and adding them with other stuff. And 1 second. That's my AC, and I don't think you'll be able to hear me very well off of that. So I'm using video assets and things I find online, the clips that are already done, because when I first started this, I've never done filmmaking. I've been filmmaking now for a guarantee like 7 or 8 months, which is not a lot of time. So when I was outside today shooting, I ran into problems I've never, run into before, and it was frustrating, but it was still so satisfying to be out there shooting, instead of just in my apartment, to be around life, people, nature, all those important things. So I really had a good time, and I'm excited because this next video then is going to have mostly shots that are not pre-recorded that I just find. They're me shooting them with my cameras. So I'm really excited about that. And the lighting, I'm sure, is going to be terrible. I don't have resources of professional lighting or a team around me to be holding some big thing that I don't even know what it's called, but it changes the lighting. That they hold this big thing, whether you're doing photography or videos. So I don't have any of that. So I'm just doing my absolute best with what I have, using the resources I have around me. That's a part of all of this channel too. That's what this is too, is trying to not teach people. I'm learning right now, so I'm not saying I'm trying to teach people, but to show people that you can start wherever you are, even if it's not going to be great quality at all. Just terrible. Think of the movie with Hustle and Flow with Terrence Howard. I mean, he had that crappy little keyboard, but he had something he had to say, and because he had something he had to say, it hit home with people. He hit a nerve, right? So I'm trying, obviously, to do that as well. I'm trying to hit a nerve, but for a very specific reason, and we've talked about in the past. I'm not going to go into that right now. The objective of the Space Between and mission and all that stuff. I'm going to, continue to, of course, fine tune that as much as I possibly can. But that's not what this video is about for this evening. Which, by the way, I'm literally sitting in my bed, and I'm wearing orange, which is a terrible color for me. I do not look good in orange at all. But what does it matter? It's not a big deal. So I was doing the shooting. The lighting, I'm sure, is terrible because I don't have those things at my disposal. So just did what I could, but it was awesome being out there shooting and everything. And it made me realize that I don't know who's seen The Last Black Man in San Francisco, an absolutely incredibly gorgeous artistic film. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say, and if this is warning, spoiler alert happening, so I'm not telling you the ending or anything, but when you see that movie, first the sequence at the beginning where they're skateboarding together, they're both trying to make it in this world. That's the metaphor. They're both trying to make it. They're both trying to do whatever they can to have the future that they hope for. And so they're both on a skateboard going through the crazy hills of San Francisco, but they do it so beautifully at the beginning with the way where you watch their leg stroke the ground and stroke it again, to propel you, but they do it to this orchestra music, and it's almost, you can feel like him pushing off with the music. It's beautifully shot. That's an absolutely gorgeous scene, and that's pretty much right in the beginning. It just like hits you so hard. But what I was talking about was the character in it, who's the playwright. But what's so amazing and beautiful about this film is he just uses the resources he has, and he has zero resources. So what he does is, he, old school, in a little journal, you see that he's drawing his dream proscenium thing in his little journal. You see his dream of what where he would want to be able to put his play up, and he does that also at the end of a dock, which I think that's also a very powerful metaphor as well. I'll let you make meaning out of it, but it's beautiful. So that little dock is his like stage. And I think what's kind of cool about that, if you think about it, is like the oceans behind that dock. So he doesn't have all the different backdrops he'd want, to try to tell a story, but at least he has just one clean image, especially one powerful image like water in the sea. So I think that shows kind of his brilliance, is because he's a brilliant playwright in the movie. So for me, what I've been trying to do is, and it's no easy task, and I haven't been filmmaking for a long time, or editing, or doing all this stuff I told you I had to learn, but I have been writing for a long time. I've been writing poetry and song lyrics a very long time, and then about 3 to 4 years I bit off writing a book. It was when I was doing Uber to survive as an artist. I was doing Uber out here, and I just really wanted to tell my story, but with an imagined situation around it. And that book that I was writing, which was 200 and some pages, it was really far in, as it turned into a musical, which I wasn't surprised, because I've been dreaming of writing a musical since I was in New York City. Always been a huge part of my biggest dream is definitely to write a musical, but something very edgy, very outside of that world, like Once, or what Rent did in like my generation. Rent changed me as a person with what I thought musicals could be. That's what he did, and that's what Lin-Manuel Miranda is doing. Oh my God, at a whole nother level, in a different way. Not any better than Jonathan Larson. He I guarantee Jonathan Larson was a huge influence on Lin-Manuel Miranda. But so it then turned into a musical, and then I wasn't ready to take that musical and start workshopping it yet, but I worked an insane amount of hours on it, wrote so much music, which I still have. And I'm excited that I am gonna, that's another part of all of this. I will do that at some point. It's a beautiful story. It's not just because my story, it's a beautiful story because, again, I took my life, but I added an imagined situation around it, which only elevates it, in my opinion. I didn't just try to say this is exactly what happened. No, there's only imagination in that if you're, yes, reframing something and creating new meaning, but to add that imagination layer, I think just takes it to another level, because it allows you to see your personal story and say, well, it could have gone another way. This way it sucked, like this sucked. That's why I have to write about it, right? That's how I can get over it. That's how I can resurrect and change my past, is to write about it. But, you could change anything that you want to it, but even just making some sort of shift, I just think allows you to get a new point of view on it. You're reframing it, and then you add the imagination layer. Then I just feel like that adds a whole nother layer. So I don't know why I just went in to kind of tell you how I feel about creating story, writing stories, but I have been doing that for a long time. And the musical, and then I couldn't do musical COVID. You might have said I wasn't necessarily in the production mode, but it was COVID. And luckily, guy I knew who I had auditioned for a film out here, just really nice guy, and just always had a nice rapport. And he gave me a suggestion of, why don't you do YouTube? And I was like, YouTube? I don't do YouTube. I have, to be honest, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but social media is not a world that I want to be in at all. But like Russell Brand talks about, I don't have a choice. Like if I want to get something out there, I want to be a contribution, I want to say something, and I want to try to make a change in people's lives, the best way I possibly can. Well, this is what we have. This is the way it's been designed. The only other way to do is to do theater, which wasn't possible. And plus, now what's amazing about this, which I've talked before, is now I've learned so many new things. So if I could have just gone to theater, which I've done theater before, musical theater in New York and all that stuff, I could go that route. But this only gave me an incredible opportunity. One, to most importantly break my failure mentality, but two, to learn all these new skills. And no, I don't do any of them very well at all. Even if I had the technology, had an amazing camera, this, that, I'm sure I still wouldn't be doing great. I haven't been doing it very long. But let's circle back here. What I am good at, besides not, from the filming, editing, learning that no matter how good my technology would be, no matter how much, how expensive my equipment would be, I still don't pretend that would be the case. But I am a very good writer, and I am a very good storyteller, and I'm very good at making a connection. So that means, because I don't have those other things, I have to try to make the content as strong as I possibly can. That's what The Last Black Man in San Francisco is about. He has nothing. So what he has to do is he has to make an incredibly captivating story that captures and gains attention from people, because he doesn't have everything else to play with, hide behind special effects, Marvel movies. I'm not saying anything about them, but you don't have to have that great of a story when you have that kind of spectacle going on, because it keeps your attention. But the other way to keep someone's attention, if you don't have that, is an incredibly well-crafted story. So I am doing my best to make these stories as compelling as I can with the resources that I have. But today was really fun shooting outside, and I've already learned stuff, important things to take into the next time that I do that today. And that's going to be for my newest video, which I'm really excited about. And I don't know if you've noticed, if any of you who have watched my stuff from the beginning, which should be amazing, I know if anybody has, and I know there's a couple people out there for sure, you just would see how I am not afraid to say this is not good. I have to change, to change it, to keep recreating it till I find whatever it is that I was kind of dreaming about, without being able to, know what the image was going to be at the end of that dream and that desire and that the mission and all that kind of stuff. But I just keep trying to experiment and recreate, just like took 10,000 tries for the light bulb. I hope it doesn't take me 10,000 tries, because for those of you who don't do this, making films, and even if I had better equipment and stuff, maybe I could do it faster. I'm not so sure. I hear editing is a very, very lengthy process, but a lot of these films you see, sometimes I can shoot a 6 to 7 minute maybe in 2 days, maybe, but that's everything. That's writing the whole thing. That's coming up with all the image, getting all the music I want in there, doing voiceovers, sometimes writing my own music. I mean, it's crazy. So, but when you see me put out 3 videos in a week, no, that means I've had to put 7 days. But luckily I'm able to, do that, which I'm very grateful to be in that situation, to be able to create all day long, every day, with no other, I have other responsibilities, but I don't have a full-time kind of 9-to-5 gig. That's not my world. So this is my world. So, wow, I got to be honest, this was fun. Maybe not for you. You might have turned me off 30 seconds in, but I had fun because I'm just really also practicing just talking on the fly, just without, none of this is planned. It was in the past, even my talkbacks, anyone saw, those were planned. I had bullet point stuff. Nope, I'm just getting more comfortable to just talk. Not that I ever had a problem talking, and anybody in my past would know. They'd be like, yeah, Brett, you have no problem talking. That's for sure. Your hyperness and your manicness, but I would get really hard on myself the moment I flubbed up a little word or this. I mean, it was really, so that's why this is cool to see, because I made a lot of mistakes through this, and And I just rolled with it, and you'll roll with it too, because we're human, and humans by nature are, we are, we make mistakes, but we're gonna fail all the time. We're failing. I mean, that's what human nature is, to be failing all the time. But failing allows you to learn and allows you to grow. So, well, I think that's good enough. I'm gonna get to bed now, and I hope all of you out there had a beautiful, inspired, loving, joyful, peaceful, balanced day. Those are the things that I strive for every day, and balance is the one that I'm still really, really bad at. Balance is something I really am challenged by. So I hope you all are not challenged by that. We all have our own challenges, but balance, you cannot just run yourself into the ground doing something all day and thinking about it 24/7. They want you to believe that. Brene Brown talked about this horrendous mentality that exists in our culture, especially American culture, I imagine, and I'm sure other places, but to kill yourself to have your dreams. You gotta kill yourself. You have to sacrifice everything, work 80 hours a week, and what a terrible life. Even if you're doing what you love, in my situation where I get to, I'm an artist, so I'm creating all day. That's my air. That's what I breathe. Just like Picasso or any of those people, their chosen medium. But what is that? Like, that's not what it should take. Some people, yeah, I guess it does. Why it takes some that and some others, who knows? We'll never know. Life is not fair. If life was fair, we'd all be born with the same opportunities from the get-go, which we all know is certainly not the case. I was born in Medina, Ohio. I could not been more fortunate to grow up there with a father who made a lot of money. I mean, and as a straight white male, blah blah blah. So that is, life is not fair just by that design alone. And yeah, I know those tough situations that allow people to, do incredible things because they were like they're not coal. I'm not comparing them to coal. I'm just saying, like, the amount of pressure, but it creates this incredible diamond because they had something they were just having to work so hard to get over because of where their body happened to, or where their soul happened to hit their body, in this world. My soul went to Medina, Ohio, and for whatever reason, probably for me to learn something. I think that's why. I think we're here to learn something about something very specific to each of us. All right, I said we were going to go like 4 minutes ago, and I continued to talk, so I apologize. Again, I hope you all had a beautiful day, inspired, joyful, peaceful, balanced, and I'll say this: 6 to 7 days a week I meditate, and meditation has changed my life. So please consider doing it, and I will give any of you who watched this far, I will happily give you 2 names of people that I love that bring the science level to it, and it has absolutely changed my life. It has. Whether I'm where I want to be or not, that doesn't matter. That's external. I've transformed. So thumbs up for that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for your time. Please like and subscribe. I promise you're going to continue to see a wonderful, magical adventure where I'm just going to keep trying something until I find what sticks. I'm still going to always do what I love. I'm not going to be like, oh, I just won't sing anymore. I won't do this anymore, that, because people don't like it. No, but I will pay attention. I will listen to the feedback. For sure. All right. Have a wonderful one, you guys. Peace and love always to everyone. Quality, empathy, inclusion, and rule breakers. Rule breakers are the future. All right, you guys. Have a good night. Bye.